Yeah, hi guys. Today I'm going to talk about a subtraction. Now you wonder, um, whether this topic is something worth you're talking about. This is really simple, but what I find is that so many students, when it comes to a subtraction, they have problems. They make silly mistakes. They don't know how to subtract really big numbers, and they have real problem when they deal with um, a situation where the number has many zeros. Now that calls my attention uh, to the difficulties that the student have. Hi guys, today I'm going to talk about subtraction. So I wonder what is actually happening out there. What sort of you're teaching, the teachers and tutors they do, at school and the tutoring shop. That the result is not really good. So many students have problem. All right, so this video is going to give mom and dad and the kids the idea that will help the kids to really master the skill to do a subtraction. And this is, the sort of skill that will take them all the way to the rest of their life, really. All right, so let's get started. Now, the normal subtraction is not hard. It just there are certain bits in the process that students tend to have a lot of problem. So first, I'm going to go through something simple, a normal subtraction a process. So basically, when the kids go to school, this is what they see. Now, for example, I'm going to write out a random number, okay? So I just say 3, 9, 4, 7, 8. And if I'm going to subtract something like 247, okay, the process is quite simple. So we'll take 7 out of 8, we get a 1. Then you take the 4 out of 7, then you get a 3. Then you get the 2 out of 4, and you get a 2. And then there's nothing, more. So you copy the 9 and the 3 down. So now that is really, really simple. Now, the problem starts to become a little bit harder when the number you try to take away has the digit that is larger than the number above it. Okay, so let's try. Okay, so now we have something like 986. Now you notice that the digits of the number on that line, they are larger than the digits above. Now let's try. Okay, so you try to take a 9 out of 8, you can't do it. So you need to trade 1 from the previous number there. So you cross out the 7 and you put a 6 and you put a 1 there. So that you add 10 to the bit on the right hand side. So you got 18. Okay, so we take 9 from 18, we get a 9. Now we try to take 8 from 6 and you can't do it. So you trade again. So you cross a 4 here down and you write a 3 and then you trade 10 across. So you got 16. Now take 8 out of 16, you get 8. Now you try to subtract 6 out of 3 and you can't do it. So you try, so you cross a 9 out, you get an 8, and you get 10, you add 2, and you get 13. Now, okay, so with 13, you take 6 out of it, and you get 7. Now that's it. Now, no more on the lower line. So now we have 8 and 3 going. So that's it. Now that's pretty simple. Now, but that is about as much as the kids can do without issue. Now, there are harder situations, and this is when the kids start to fail. Okay, now we will proceed to something a bit harder. Now, for example, you have 10,000 and you try to take something out of it. Okay, now look at that. The situation is that you can't take 6 out of 0. Now, so the way it works is that you look across and you see a 0 here, so there's nothing to take away. You can't trade. You have another 0 here, so you can't do it. You have another 0 here, so you can't trade anything. Finally, you get to a 1, so that you can trade. Now, in this case, you have to look at the entire 1,000 in front of it, and you trade one of the entire 1,000. Okay? So in that case, you would cross out the entire 1,000 and you take one out of it. So you get 999. Now, that's what you do. Now, so then you can have a 10 added to the digit on the right-hand side. So now you can take 6 out of 10. Okay, so 6 out of 10, so you get a 4. Now you can take 4 out of 9, you get a 5. You can take 2 out of 9, you get a 7. And there's 9 left, so the 9 come down. So that's how you take a number out of the like of 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, and that kind of thing. Okay, so imagine that it gets bigger. For example, like this. Say if you have 1 million or more. So 1 billion. Okay. Now you try to take a number out of it. So 2, 4, 6, you try to take out of it. Well, the strategy is exactly the same. Now you look at the situation here. There is nothing in the 0 to trade across. So you have to do the entire thing. So you cross out the entire thing here and replace that with 9, 9, 9, 9, 9, 9, 9, 9. Then you can have a 10 traded across. Then you can do it so that you get a 4 and then 5 and 7. And then all the things just come down. There we are. So that's how things work. All right. Now, this is a key to deal with a situation where you have this sort of number with a lot of zeros embedded inside another. Now, I'll show you that situation. So if you have something like this, now look at the situation. You have the 3 zeros embedded inside, right? But not all the way to the right-hand side. Now, this is where the student have problem. Now, this is how you do it. Okay, so we'll take 7 out of 4. Now, we can't do that, so we try. So we just cross that one out, and we get a 2, and we trade 10 over. Okay, now take 7 out of 14, you get 7. Now, you try to take 6 out of 2. Now, you can't do it, and you look across. Now, again, a 0 here, can't do anything. A 0 here, you can't do anything. A 0 here, you can't do anything. And finally, you see a 1. Okay, so the idea is the same thing. You cross out the entire 1,000 there. Then you write 9, 9, 9, and you trade 10 across. You get 12. However, you also see that when you cross the 1000 out, you need to have a 0 here as well. Now, that is very important. Now, we are ready. Okay, so take 6 out of 12, you get 6. Take 9 out of 9, you get a 0. Take 7 out of 9, you get a 2. Now, there's nothing there, so the 9 go down, and the 0, there's nothing on the lower side, so the 0 go down. And then everything just go down. There we are. So this is a bit where the student tend to have a lot of problem. Now, the correct way to practice this is simply using a random number. All you need to do is to give your child a piece of paper and a pen and a calculator, just to write out random number, subtract, and check by the calculator. Simple as that. You don't need any workbook or anything at all. Now, I'll show you the example. Okay, so you see, I have a calculator, and this is in Windows, and you can have number up to 1 billion or more. I think maybe 1 trillion, maybe something like that. So let's try something really, really big. Now, don't feel hesitated. Don't feel that the kids have to be restricted to the stuff at school, like subtracting from 7 digits or something like that. Just go for as far as you can go with a calculator. So let's try. Let's try something like 476 to 000751070. Okay, so we have a very, very large number. Now, once the kids know how to do it, it doesn't matter. It doesn't how big it is. Now, just make it as large as possible. Okay, now this is a massive, massive number. Now, if your child can handle this sort of thing, then your child can do anything, really. All right, so let's get started. Now, we try to take 5 out of 0. We can't do it, so we try. So cross it out, we get a 6. Try a 10 over. Okay, so take 5 out of 10, we get a 5. Okay, now, next we take 7 out of 6. We can't do it. And look across. You get 0, 0, 0, then 1. So that's a 0 there. So what we're going to do is we're going to cross that one out. Now, we will change that to 0, 9, 9, and trade a 10 over, like that. Okay, now we're ready. We take 7 out of 16, we get a 9. And then after that, take 4 out of the 9, you get a 5. Take 1 out of the 9, you get an 8. And then now you try to get 6 out of a 0, you can't do it. But you look across, you see a 5. So you can trade. So we cross a 5 out, we change that to a 4. We trade 10 over. So take 6 out of 10, we get a 4. Now we try to take a 5 out of 4, we can't do it. We cross, we change that into a 6, and we trade a 10 over 14. So we get a 9. Now we try to take 7 out of 6 now, and we can't do it. Now look across, and you see 0, 0, 0, and a 2. Now what we need to do is we need to cross the entire thing out. Now 2 become a 1, and then 9, 9, 9, and then we trade a 10 over. We get 16 there. All right, now we try to take 7 out of 16, we get a 9. And then 4 out of 9, we get a 5. And then there's nothing left on the second line. So everything will come down. So we got a 9, we get a 9, we get a 1, and 6, and 7, and 4. Now, that is done. Now, this is when the calculator go in, okay? So we're going to put a number into the calculator. So 4762000751070. Now we take away 4756145. There we are. 4761995994859. That's it. Now, so this is what you need to do to help your child to become perfect, right? Now, up to year 6, they only learn to subtract up to 7 digits or something like that. But in this case, what we have done, so we got 14 digits. So we got double what they do at school. And once they master the way to do it like this, they will never ever have any more problem. So, oh well, congratulations. So by the time your child get to this your level, your child already master how to subtract. So kids, now if you are watching this, this is what you do. You know, you work with your mom and dad at first, but then you work all by yourself. And then you have a calculator as your friend. So all you need is a sheet of paper, a pen, and a calculator. And you just write out random numbers, big numbers, difficult ones. Then you follow what I show you here and check by the calculator. Now, within a week, you are going to be the master. You are going to be able to do everything. And you'll be able to show your friend, and you'll be able to show your teachers. All right. So happy subtraction.